The holidays are right around the corner. And if you have a 23andMe testing kit on your list, either of things to give or something that you want for the holidays, that can be super fun. It can be a really neat way to find out if that family myth that you're really descended from Russian royalty is true, and just learn more about your ancestry. It can be really neat. But it also can have some unintended consequences, not just for you, but for kind of your more extended family. And as an estate planning and family law attorney, I've seen and also heard about several really unfortunate unintended consequences of these tests. So I wanted to just raise that so that people are aware. My name is Alex Meeks. I'm an attorney and the owner and founder of Acorn Law, a law firm dedicated to helping busy families get their affairs in order. So if you get one of these tests done, there's probably going to be some things on there that surprise you. Maybe you didn't realize that you were part Brazilian, but there might also be some things that are really surprising. Like I've known more than one person in the recent past who's found an unknown half sibling. And so that can really happen. And what does that mean, right? And it can mean a lot of different things. It could mean there was an infidelity in the past. It could mean there was a child who was adopted. It could mean that someone's parentage is not what they think it is because there was some sort of a donor involved. So there's all kinds of things that can mean. But what does that potentially mean for your family and for their matters that might end up in court? So as an estate planning attorney, it can definitely impact, I can tell you, it can definitely impact how a person's estate is distributed. So if someone dies without a will, they're considered to be intestate, is what we call it. But what that means is just that their assets will pass to their heirs as defined in the statute. So typically, someone who can prove that they are the child of this person is going to have a claim for a portion of that estate. This can also impact people who do have a will, because it's pretty common when you draft your will to have it read that you want certain things to go to your children in equal shares or something to that effect. And people do this for good reason. They draft their wills that way instead of being more specific, because the other option is you could name your children individually and say you want it to, you want a third to go to Judy and a third to go to James, and say no one else is included. You can do that, but then if you have another child, that child wouldn't have been named. You'd have to amend your documents. So if you've got one of those more open-ended wills drafted that just says to my children, be aware that this kind of an issue can crop up. So obviously, I don't know if I even need to say this, but this can impact some people more than others, right? Depending on your gender and whether you've participated in certain activities. So that's the estate planning side. I've certainly seen a couple of instances, even where families get along pretty well, where an unknown sibling or child is discovered, and then that turns the whole estate administration on its head. So it also can pop up in family law matters. It's less common, I think, because minor children, who are really the focus of most of all custody matters, right? Minor children aren't, as a matter of course, taking these kinds of tests. And so if that child's parentage is not what we think it to be, there would have to be something additional that happens in order for them to get a DNA test done, to be ordered, or a parent has to seek it out specifically. Child's not going to go do it on their own. But what we do see is situations where young adult children go and get a test and find that they have an unknown half sibling or cousin, some close relation that doesn't sound right. And that discovery can unearth the fact that there was some issue in the past, perhaps an infidelity or something of that sort. And especially when it is a case of infidelity, that knowledge can, be a shock to that person's partner and potentially lead to a divorce proceeding. So at the end of the day, I don't really have any advice here, because it's not as if you can just avoid taking these tests and avoid having these issues, because it's typically not the person at the heart of the matter who has a test done. It's like one of their children or their nephew or cousin, somebody in their sphere who has it, that can unearth these kind of things. So just be aware that these things happen, and try to be as open and honest with your family as you'd want them to be with you, because these things can come out in the open whether you want them to or not. And you don't want your family to end up in court arguing about something that could have been avoided if you've been more upfront. So that's my little video for today. If you have an estate planning or family law issue that you would like to talk more about, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can make an appointment right on my website. I'd love to talk to you, and I'd love to help.